Leave me alone! Ah! Ah!
Oh, Russia's broken, they said. Russia's so good on the PT, y'all should play it. Ah, yes, we're back to the meta again of US playing against Russia. Not really, I'd say. I think ultimately there are people at the end of the day that are just going to be diehard RU fans and diehard US fans, and well, fortunately for me, I am a diehard US fan. So yeah, good day everyone, my name is Corn, and today we're going to be on the PT. We're going to be showing a US versus Russia match on Baltisk, which is a very Bravo, actually no, Alpha side biased map, like their side at least, especially for the C cap. And we're gonna open up with 2 sex eagles because I want to get some man pads into the H cap. And obviously, as you can see already, they have 4 fighters. One of our teammates does not like me taking H. H dead, whatever, man. Anyways, they kind of got stockpiled here by a bunch of abundance of fighters. EX didn't really work out. Although, to be honest, I also think that in an environment with like such high ping, you know, like 144, I've been having issues. I've been having issues fighting my opponent's fighters that have 0 ECM, and like I don't land hits on them, and then they get mine jets get 2-tapped. And anyways, the opening still turned out to be decent. We still managed to have a little bit of a point lead. We're both trying to spot more fighters. And I'm just going to use a Chinook, which cost 110. It used to cost like 150. Yeah, so it's much cheaper now. And I'm just going to give it a quick run and send it to the island with the man pad. At least give my opponent a message that there might be something on the island at the moment. In the meantime, also going to follow up with a couple Kiowas. These, recently they changed killer eggs a lot to the point where, well, basically the biggest change done to US helicopters is actually the killer egg. I call them the keg. And they went from 8 HP down to 6. And this is a pretty significant difference because if you look at the health, then you know maybe it doesn't look like, oh well, 25% nerf. Yeah, it does look kind of big, but how significant is it? And for those who are out of the loop, then it basically means that any manpad can simply one-tap a killer egg now, instead of taking 2. And that's a really bad thing. That's a really bad thing for US on flanks, or at least it kind of disables people from using killer eggs to outtrade Russian helicopters in a very easy fashion. And the next alternative that we have is the Kiowa. The Kiowa is okay, you know, like it's still a bit more expensive. I think it's like 140 points now for a fully kitted out Kiowa. If you don't run the optics, that's negative 25, and that's going to be 115. It's going to cost 115. And against a Russian helicopter that usually costs more than 200, if I lose 1 Kiowa just to trade out like one of their helicopters, I think it's fair. I mean, obviously, as you can see here, I just ran into my opponent's face and almost lost my second helicopter. It would have been a disaster because I still had a Dolphin going in to take control of the H cap. Oh, I forgot to mention, the specialization I was with today is actually Airborne Baltic. It's my new favorite specialization, or deck to play, at least on PT. I think it has a lot of utility. I think it's quite fun. And then we have the Madpan squad with the RBS 70. This is a semi-guided variant of the Madpads. It's kind of interesting because it has a very long range, 2,200 meters. Bad handwriting. And yes, so from what I wanted to do with these manpads is that if they can outrange the Russian helicopter's limers, or the one that deals damage to infantry, then, you know, I can at least use manpads to deal with them. In the meantime, my opponent's trying to maybe kill my helicopter, I'm not really sure. I think he spots it here. oh no, he's shooting at something else. And I decided to dedicate a bit of my attention to dealing with this guy's SU-25S. He does take a couple hits. Turns out my Iris was actually capable of dealing with it. I have a teammate that doesn't like me going to the island, even though on paper, like it's actually pretty desirable for US to, I mean, pretty natural since they're lighter, they deploy faster to get on the island on H. So I don't really think there was an issue with going H. This guy does not like me, or doesn't like me. And then at this point I decided, well, you know, maybe I'll just chill a little bit, play my game. Yeah, trade-wise not too good. And then I was actually looking for stream mode. I just couldn't be bothered by like. I mean, I kind of just want to focus on playing the game basically. And because you know, like I'm confident in what I'm doing. I think we can win without having to taking other people's opinions into consideration until like you know until the game or our opponents are a bit better. But regardless, so this is what we have to do when trying to get into my opponent's side of the map. They have a bunch of like old buildings. Each one of them could have an ATGM team, as you can see there. That's a conquest team. That's another one, 2 in total for now. We'll just try to use Thunderbolts. And I also noticed my opponent was trying to sneak in some units from the very edge of the map, which I'll definitely need to deal with them. It's quite cheeky of him, to be honest. But anyways, if you saw earlier, my income was actually 300 at some point during the match, and all of a sudden it's down to 212. I think this has something to do with the new, like, income, I guess. They made 2 different, like, versions of income, and, well, this is the new one. Because they said, you know, we should try, oh, there's another transport helicopter. This guy's very cheeky with his, units. But anyways, we're here to stop them, and I was just gonna say, the 300 income thingy basically enables people to, like, for the first 1,000 points that the person deploys on the field, they will not receive any penalty. And they will not receive any penalty for, like, having, for upkeep. And it's basically a way to encourage people to, you know, be bolder with their early deployments and that kind of stuff. And then it quickly like trickles downwards once you start deploying more than 1,000 points worth of units, and like overall your like income will still be more, the majority, despite some vehicles that were in fact you know, trying to wreck me. Coming to my H cap, I'll just have to figure out a way to get some infantry here on a Blackhawk. That is a Zalukai. It's a pretty good squad at dealing with that my opponent's infantry, so I figured, you know, maybe I'll do that. And also airdrop a scimitar, because why not? So yeah, as of now, you know, we have 202 income. This is basically, we're pretty much at the point, like, we have less than, like, I don't know, 2,000 points worth of units, or something like that, and we're just trying to, we'll kind of, like, benefit from the system here. Actually, both teams do. And something I don't get about the system is that, is this. So, like, people can ultimately kind of just take advantage of the system by, like, just spawning barely enough units. Because if you think about the design here, like, the design why people wanted to do this, like, you know, encouraging early aggression or something like that, just have 1,000 points worth of units on the field, and then you just, you know, keep either just air spam, having a minimal front line, that kind of stuff. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because once you get an early advantage over your opponent, like let's say I have 1,000 points of units on the field, my opponent has none, then doesn't that mean that we still both have like 300 income? So to me it feels like, you know, there's not, instead of like helping my teammates, like, or not my teammates, instead of helping myself or my opponents play the game, like get an early advantage, I think it's just gonna end up punishing my, like, whichever side is at a disadvantage, because their opponents at the start of the match is still going to have like 1,000 points worth of income, and that goes along for both teams, and it's gonna snowball from there, which I'm not really sure about. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but we'll see. Anyways, as of now, like, we're just, you know, it seems like we're taking control of H while trying to get a bit of units into C as well. But that is a really big column of armor, like, you know, a Terminator, a T-14, whatever, a T-15, T-80, I can't tell. And that's the meta. That is the meta of Broken Arrow currently, at least, where people just kind of spawn a bunch of tanks and then just win. And there's a lot of reasons to that, how, excuse me, as to why tanks are very dominant in the current meta. They two-tap a lot of things. They don't really, they're tanky, obviously. And I think, oh, that is a... Yeah, I think ultimately tanks are quite dominant. Also, this guy is spamming the map the entire game. I'm just gonna mute the recording for a while. This guy loves pinging the map, but yeah, tanks are pretty strong in the meta, mainly because they two-tap a lot of things, and sometimes having this thing called like if you have lightly armored vehicles, they're not gonna help much. If you have anything that could be like infantry, they still get outranged, and yeah, like if you don't have a tank, it feels like you're trolling. And wait, did I not mute it? Oh, I'm hearing it myself. That's my I'm hearing it. You guys aren't. So yeah, like this is what's going on at the moment, where people use tanks to try to win their own matches, and currently we're kind of, well, this guy and I are still trying to we're caught in a dogfight, and my way of trying to dealing with this is I'm just gonna get stuck in the dogfight while we draw circles in the air, and then since this is I'll just call another plane. I'll call another fighter to at least target the Su-57, and as long as we keep drawing circles, we should be able to. Oh, nah, man. I got targeted by the Stingers. Kind of unlucky here. So I'm just gonna. Well, I guess it worked out for them. Maybe not for me. I still need to deal with this Su-35. I guess we both we eventually found out that we both had points for this, but unfortunately my opponent lands 2 direct hits on me. I only get 1. So yeah, he gets to run away with his crippled Su-35, but at least, you know, we defend the island for another day, so it's not too bad. So yeah, and then now, when we look back at C-Cap, yeah, well, we kind of need to reinforce C again if we ever want to push into it. The only issue for me is that every time I look around, this guy is trying to sneak stuff into my back line, so I kind of need something here. And I actually forgot about this during the match, but if you play as airborne, you can actually put a slam ram into a Chinook. I don't know what's a Chinook's like letters and numbers like. I kind of forgot, but you can put it inside a Chinook and then you can drop it in the island. And then like if you're on this side, I mean on my side of the map, I can simply put a slam ram right here. I don't even need to turn on the radar. I just put it there, and then it's just gonna automatically kill helicopters for me if my opponent decides that, oh, I'm gonna throw some stuff at the island. But I guess he found out that, or at least this PDB guy decided that it was a bit too much after figuring out that I managed to get a very lightly armored scimitar on the island. And I think that's something that, you know, it's kind of not, well, at least for the current Broken Arrow, at least the meta or map rotation, where islands, like these kind of places where like there are a bunch of islands and then you need to hop from this place to the other. Although it seems like, you know, most of the maps are on big ground maps and we don't really get to see different kinds of stuff. Well, maybe if we ever, like, you know, travel to the South China Sea or something, maybe we'll be able to find, you know, maps with a bit more variety. Also, I forgot to unmute the match, but if you can hear it, this is what's currently going on in my match, and I couldn't really turn it off. So I ended up, turns out you can still type in the chat after, let me just mute this again, this is taking a while. Alright, so, yeah, it turns out it seems like you can still ping the map. I mean, you can still type messages, even though no one can actually, I don't think I can see what my teammates are saying, but apparently on streamer mode, you could still type, which is kind of weird. I don't know if this is supposed to work or not, but that was the last time the guy was pinging the map, because you know, like, there's really nothing to stress about. We're playing the game, we're winning, so we'll be fine. But regardless, anyways, I think it's finally time that we focus on C. Both teams, at least for me, I have a pretty good sniper set up here. I can spot a lot of things behind C cap, so for artillery that is. But you may look at my artillery loadout and you look at this. Why is the M107 here? This is like a cheap paladin. Wait, is it 106? I don't remember, but it's like a very cheap artillery piece that shoots really slow, but it has the fire. It has a, you know, like 2 is better than 1 sometimes, and I think it really well reflects the way that PTE is like, because the more expensive your artillery pieces, the less shells does it shoot every time you order it to. This guy tries to strafe my Leopard and I hide behind a building, so I'm pretty sure his ADGMs are all like wasted there, or at least he's suiciding himself for nothing. If I didn't have the church there to protect me, I would just simply smoke up. There's really not much to like be stressed about. And yeah, like this church is actually a pretty nice spot to hide behind. It's gonna chip away at that Murderstroke squad. Because the Leopard, despite it being pretty much on par with a T90, like gun-wise, so is its anti-infantry capabilities, because it doesn't really have the MGs that a what is it called? Like an Abrams does. Like the Abrams, they can have 2, they can have 4. They have 2 50 cals, 2 M240s. I mean, it's a lot of firepower for like dealing with infantry, and the Leopard is kind of just a tank that has a really good gun, and that's about it. So I know, like, when the Baltic Battalion came out, everyone was like, yo, Court, why does the Leopard suck? Why is it not so good? At least it should look like it's, you know, a bit better on paper, or something along those lines. I don't really know, but well, I guess it's just for balance. I think we can all agree that it's because of balance. It's not really because the Leopard deserves to be bad or anything. Poor Leopard, you know, if they had the 2A7, maybe, like, we would find it a bit more reasonable, you know, like, but, yeah. I guess it's just something that, because, like, America already has, or at least this faction in Broken Arrow, they already have, like, the best tanks, and having the equivalent of a T90 is, you know, I think it's fair. I think it's fair. But yeah, I think Russia might need a couple more tanks, like specs with tanks, because only three? Yeah, only 3 out of 5 specs have tanks, and for like Russia, for US, I think only SF and Striker don't have tanks. And well, yeah, you can say US has 6 specs now. That makes sense. Well, I think the next specialization also has T62s, I believe, and I'm not sure. I think it's in the leagues or something. So yeah, that's it's gonna be nice. I think at least they'll have tanks. But we're not sure if they're good or not, so we'll see. And here there happens to be a like engined armada right there. Just gonna quickly tap it with the javelin. Quite lucky here. Not really sure what happened. But hey, I'll take 410 points for free. You know, I'm not gonna be too I'm not gonna be picky. Yeah, something nice about the Leopard is that it does have really good optics. It has 1700 years worth of optics, and for those who don't know what a kilometer is, that's like, actually how much is that? Yeah, that's like 1 mile. Yeah, the Leopard can see 1 mile, folks. For I think. Let me do some quick googling. Kilometer to mile. Okay, 1.7. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. 1.7. Yeah, it can. But there you have it, folks. First, it's European too. It's European. Apparently, the European tank can actually spot things a mile away, but you couldn't see the same for any of the US tanks besides the SEP V2 and the SEP T-Ray. This guy was trying to strafe my Leopard, but nope, not gonna let him. I'm just gonna quickly smoke the tank up, and that I think it's very common where like these CAS planes, they're just gonna like strafing run or like low altitude run at my tanks, just to force a trade. I think, yeah, tanks are both more lethal and also like a bit more fragile at the same time because of the abundance of these planes being around, and also at a fairly cheap price. So you're gonna, I think, you know, at least for now, they've not only have they increased the lethality of tanks, they've also increased the lethality of the things that can destroy tanks. Maybe besides infantry. Infantry kind of suck now. But I mean, for the infantry outside of buildings. So, anyways, here we try to use the airborne to deal some damage. Just gonna quickly pop 2 smokes there before I get start retreating to the nearest supply point. I actually did want to try something else here though, with the 2 airborne teams inside that Vilkas. And you'll see in a moment. Unfortunately, my slammer dies, but it's whatever. So, take a look at my Vilkas right here. I was initially going back to the supply, but I figured that this place is not too safe. There's 2 tanks here. So I'm just going to put my airborne inside the building right there, and then park right next to the building. And what this can enable me to do is that I can now resupply them. As you can see, they're currently healing. I mean, they're taking a little bit of damage from the TOS, but they're slowly healing up, which is quite nice, actually, except I lost my smoke earlier and it died. But if you, let me pull back let's go back like 10 seconds. Alright, let me try to pause this right here. Okay. Wait, no! Okay, I pressed the wrong button. Okay, let's pause it right here, sorry. Okay, right here. 1.2 tons worth of supplies. If you remember that there were 9 dudes in here initially, there are around 13 airborne teams now. I mean airborne infantry now that walked out of the Vilkas. Not sure how they did it, some kind of magic. And with like about half amount the total capacity. Normally the Vilkas can have, for like IVs that have like autocannons, they only can carry this much supply. So if I manage to keep the Vilkas alive and use all of its supply, then I can probably get it up to like 16 or like 17 dudes inside this building. I mean, like, kind of keep them running again, these 2 squads. So I actually think like this is viable, you know, like you don't really necessarily need like big IVs. Like if you just happen to accidentally lose an IV in the process, you can still carry 2 of these squads, and like considering that if they are low enough HP, and then move them to like some place that's, you know, might be a bit safe, and then just resupply them right behind that building. I think that's actually viable. Yeah, I think, you know, it's nice. I think it's totally doable. In the meantime, we're trying to bail my own Leopard out that's currently under a bit of, you know, heavy fire. It's just going to smoke itself up with the mortar. Drop some supplies in the back as well. And then let the most broken tank in the game, which is not a tank at all, it is the is the M8 Thunderbolt. It's going to let it base check tanks, shoot them first, and always win. I think that's why Airborne is a really popular specialization now. Or at least for me, I do happen to love my Thunderbolts that for some reason have a 73 gun and also have a 2 APS charge. Like, can you imagine? That's actually crazy. And then all that just for a price of 190 points. Oh, boat trying to smoke up. Run away! Oh, yeah, now look at that, look at that. That is the new sprint to exit building like mechanic that the devs implemented. Actually quite nice. I think, you know, it's gonna help people to, like, get out of dangerous places fairly quickly. And in the meantime, it's gonna have to do some venturing in my opponent's territory. Oh, did I miss? Seems like I did. Oh. Ooh, what is he shooting? Oh, the Vena. Here we go. That's cool. But as you can see here, the second phase is about to end in 5 minutes, and I figured we are down 2 caps somehow. That means we have the island, we have G, and we have our home cap, and that's it. All 3 contest caps that we should be contesting for are lost. So we probably have to do something about it, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to at least pull the map, or the cap count, back to like an even 4v4, even though as you can see this is conquest and it might be a bit too late for that, but you know, at least we have a bit of a chance now. My opponent is using the barrage to engage my infantry. Actually quite interesting here. Yeah, with the exit, the quick exit from the buildings. Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice that I can get my Mechanizatia out of the buildings. Like just chuck a quick AT4 and then pull back out of it. Anyways, oh, that is a bunch of jets in the air. Oh, a lot of a big Bomba. Okay, just gonna get another Velkas. Doing with those yaks. Yeah, as you can see here, we're trying to like get some really good crossfire into the sea cap by having units both like this is the 2 buildings and our opponents can usually hide behind. In contrast, we do have like this little building here we can hide behind and, you know, at least have some crossfire into the B cap or C. They might hide here eventually, but we'll just have to like get some crossfire from here and here, and then we should be good. So this is how like you might sometimes end up attacking the C point, which I think, you know, maybe you'll find it helpful. Just remember to smoke these places up, or at least have some sort of infantry to back up your vehicles that are trying to shoot in the sea. But I'm pretty sure I made sure that there was nothing nearby because my Leopard checked there previously. I'm just gonna have to Move slowly into the sea cap. Help out. Oh, turned out there seemed to be a supply point over there. And a helicopter. Hello? Oh, yep, he did kill something. But yeah, me personally, maybe... I don't have supplies in my vehicles, that's why. That's why those boys are not resupplying. Let me do you a favor. Okay, there you go. There you go. That's how you clear out the cap. Unfortunately, I didn't really have shore at the moment. I definitely need to call out my own shore at the moment. Otherwise, this guy's just gonna be able to like wreck me free with his helicopters, and helicopters are really good. Helicopters are really good at the moment, I think. You might call me crazy, but I do think that helicopters are maybe they're a bit too good. No, I don't think well, to be honest, I don't think helicopters should yeah, I think people should have fun with them at least. Like, even though I think they're strong, I think people should at least still have a bit of fun with the helicopters. See what they're capable of, and you know, and then like if they turn out to be overperforming, then yeah, then people should definitely. I mean, look, if we can change it back, you know, people can still adopt the same playstyle with the helicopter, just to less effect, which is, you know, okay to me. But yeah, anyways, I think by buffing helicopter, they've kind of made it more popular in some ways. So I think it's nice. People like Ben used to use helicopters a lot. I mean, they did before the patch without them even having to buff in the first place. And I find that, you know, like, you can definitely use helicopters even before the buffs. To me, buff, the balance of a unit was never really, like, at least in Broken Arrow, like, it's completely up to you. You don't really have to care about anything. Like, if you think something works, just go for it. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be like, okay, can you micro it? Can you make something viable? Because sometimes you need like this unit position here, that unit position here, or just a lot of coordination. And to me, I think, you know, a unit being broken or not doesn't really change how effective, or like, yeah, maybe change it to some extent, but ultimately at the end of the day, you can make it work. And I think you're never going to make something work at least. And yeah, but yapping so much, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, like, all I'm saying is that, hey, you can do it too, man. Just don't be concerned with the meta or whatever. I'm playing Baltic Airborne because I think it's a strong deck. Actually, I've never even talked about why I think Baltic Battalion with Airborne is good. But the idea is that you have a squad with the mobs. I have really bad handwriting. Mobs. Oh, 2 A's. You have a squad with the spike. And you have a squad with a bunch of AT4s. You can do the combination with Marines as well. But you just don't get access to any of the Thunderbolts or like Eagles, or like the very crazy helicopters. So I just ended up going for Airborne. I don't think Airborne is bad, but this is also me getting desync to hell at 160 ping. So yeah, guys, I think changing overkill, I mean, Seed is more interceptable now. Totally. Jokes aside, I think, well, the reason why I think like an infantry combination of this is good is because you have direct firing ATs at like 600 meters and 400 meters. Like, this one needs to reload, right? So if your opponent doesn't smoke, the spike SR is good. if your opponent does smoke, DT4 is good. And then for anything in between, like if he has maybe too much infantry or like vehicles, IOVs, then Maws are going to be better than like spikes. Like Maws are kind of like in between these two, I think. So having 3 different levels of AT infantry, I think is a really good way to mix it up and you know, and make it a tough, give your opponent a tough time. So for me in this deck, I have the airborne with the Maws, which is airborne NGSW. The SD Scouts, the Spike SR, and the Mechanization Kayineki, or whatever you pronounce it. The cheaper one is, or the second cheapest one, at least in live, those have the AT4s. They actually have 6 instead of the Airborne's 5. And I could explain to you everything about like why I decided to make these changes, because normally people would run and that is a very nice detail, by the way, would run the Jaegers. Like the Jaeger with Maws, and then the normal airborne with AT4, and then the Yeleve Yagu with the Spike SRs, which I think is totally, like, I think it's the best option, like the best combination out there for airborne Baltic, but, you know, I just wanted to try it out. I just wanted to try it out and see if, like, it would be different or more interesting, you know. So yeah, like that's what I thought. It's what I wanted to try out. So in the meantime, I think 10 minutes left on the clock. I'm just gonna have to quickly reinforce the C-cap before my opponents decide to run it down with the C-cap. And as you can see right here, actually, can I scroll back 10 seconds? I want to see what my SD Scouts did there, because they fired first. Ah, okay. So the difference, probably the difference between like SD Scouts and the normal Yellow Yagu is that at least I saved myself, like when I got into the building. Maybe that would have exposed me to my opponent's vision, or like my opponents would have spotted them and then already started shooting before I could even shoot my Spike SRs. But that being said, the Scouts team is also a much smaller squad, so yeah, they risk dying. I mean, they're probably gonna get blasted by my opponent's stuff much faster than they can do to my Yellow Yagu. But anyways, you know, at least it worked this time. Gonna quickly poke at the helicopter right there with the slam ram. Slam ram is actually a really good SHORAD, I think. Has a pretty decent, like, low altitude range of 2.2 kilometers and also 1.8 kilometer high altitude, so it's kind of like a random landmine, or if your opponents decide that, hey, I'm just going to fly a plane above your head where your packs are down, the slam ram is actually pretty good. It's a pretty good alternative. But as you can see here, the quality of the tank really does matter quite a lot. This guy barely scratched me while I could manage to basically two-shot that guy at a pretty far away distance. Oh, but we do spot some things. Baton's coming in. Missed my shot though. It's firing again. There we go. Well, we probably hit him. We probably did. I'm not sure if we did. There we go. Very nice, very big. Oh, that was a big hit. No, he shot the bearing. I was expecting him to go for the T14 at least. So does my Thunderbolt also go for the something else? I get big Bomba by my opponent's SU-34, and it seems like my slam ram, or my Iris, was a bit too far away to even shoot with its radar off, and this guy actually gets to go home for free. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, I think it's pretty tough for people to use SAMs effectively, especially when they're like shorter range one, like the Iris. They don't really have a lot of range without radar on. Well, but someone's cruise missiles does help me at least deal some damage to my opponent's vehicles. Take them out. Make the incoming push a bit more difficult to deal with. I mean, like, less effective. Figured I'd also need some supplies on the front line. Otherwise, I'd actually get wrecked here. I have no forward logistics. Wait, who the fuck? Ooh. Didn't realize until now someone had, like, a Stinger team inside their spawn. Wait. Thank God, I thought I was muted all the up until now. But anyways, use the CV90 to do a lot of damage to the Morskaya there in the back. Oh, he did not have smoke. Slam ram. Oh, he missed. But that's okay. Oh well, time to go back. But yeah, that's a T-14. Oh, that is also a big plane. Oh. Planes seem to be very suicidal nowadays. I mean, they're obviously taking out my infantry fairly easily, but like, I don't know. These people love planes, I guess. Yeah, the Guardian did, you know, seem to deal a lot of damage before I ever needed to. They were pushed into the sea. Can let them have it. Can let them have it for a little bit. Blowing already is bad, guys. Don't do what I'm doing. Oh, run away. Okay, yep. It's time to go back and get some more APS charges nearby. That was weird. That should have hit me at least. Yeah, it's pretty nice seeing CES planes being used a bit more often. I mean, they still like 2-tap a lot of my units, but at least, you know, like for suicide planes, they seem to be quite effective, or at least as effective as normal units are. Oh, I was gonna show you this, by the way. Like, you just missed it, or maybe you did see it. My Thunderbolt dying. Okay, this guy's retreating, right? Look, he's retreating. He's going back to the resupply. And then here, look at the T-14 somewhere around there. Oh, there he is. He's already aiming. At this point in time, I looked at this, and I thought to myself, what could he be possibly aiming at? And then, I mean, I did smoke, but yeah, like, it was already too late, but yeah. I think, since tanks now take 2 to 3 seconds to aim, which is like a full second faster, you definitely need to look out for things like that. definitely need to look at things like that. Gonna use the Zarukai to breach these buildings. Say goodbye to our Moscow buddy. Bye-bye. And then the yellow Yagu, actually the yellow Yagu, that's the SD scouts. Gonna take care of that tank. Fire you guys is gonna pop through the smoke. I'm not really sure why or if that should be legal or not, but it's okay. I think I'm artillerying myself. Yeah, my dumbass is artillerying myself. Oops. Yeah, just a, you know, definitely not intentional. Sorry, guys. Gonna bring that guy back to base. I must say though, I'm not sure if like you guys, if for you guys who are playing on PT is having fun at all or stuff. I think it's, you know, a different environment. People get to completely forget about ELO for like 2 seconds and then actually try to try out new things. You know, I think it's the PT, it's a cool place or environment for friends, family. You know, it's pretty family friendly, at least in my opinion. And if you haven't tried it out, you guys should go for it. Even though like, oh, there goes my Sam against the seat that it was designed to hit. For those, I mean, I get it. Like on live, this should be natural, right? Like my opponent's seat going through my air defenses, but the dev specifically said with the anti-kill thingy or whatever that was, that Sam should be able to intercept seed. Well, I guess it's just not been working out for me. I have a thing that's maybe a bit too hot. Anyways, match is about to end. I figured out that I still don't have C yet, but regardless, as you can see here, the whoever controls this cap is not really that important, as my teammate did shift over to the B cap rather than staying here in C. That's a grad? It's a cluster grad. Quite interesting. But all I'm gonna do is, since you know this is a broken arrow game and it just doesn't feel right without an end of phase push, so I'm just going to quickly delete everything that's in C, get rid of the motor stroke key, and then yeah, I can take C again. But you know, it's not really gonna do anything since this is a conquest game after all. Oh. There goes my iris. And that's it. That's the end of this long, but I guess quite eventful Broken Arrow PT match. I think elo doesn't really matter here. We're not even doing any high-elo heists, but we're just trying out new things for the fun. I did end up reporting this guy, but it's whatever. Not important. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video of Broken Arrow PT. Thank you all for watching until the very end. Please do let me know if I should try out any decks or anything new like you find interesting. Maybe yeah, just tell me in the comments. Yeah, much thanks to you for watching till the end, along with the channel supporters Nova, Kiko, and KP, along with the boys at BA Armory. And I think that should be the end of this video. Quick note: I had a big exam on last Friday, and yeah, I think I did pretty well. I'm gonna pass it, so I'm happy. I think I can come back to focusing on videos. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.